Welcome back to another episode of Solly's Vlog, where we are talking about my online radio series portion of the new 52 Mix Show. So we're going to switch networks here for a minute because I do content daily for online radio. So on Mondays, you have Old School Monday on Flash 107.6. On Tuesdays, you have Cutoff Jams on Flash 107.6. Both shows, 8 to 9. That's my time slot. Talked a little bit about those. Now we're going to switch stations. On Wednesdays, we have Coast to Coast with the Dizz. That is on the Block 105 radio. Block 105 radio is actually a newer station. I started with them in 2021, right before I went back to work at Dancers Show Club, which is my club residency of a couple of years. This particular online radio show is one of my personal faves because the music format is very similar to what I play at Dancers. It is still primarily like hip hop and R&B, but there's a lot of EDM and there's a lot of mashups similar to Cutoff Jams, but this is a different radio station that gets played worldwide and it's completely different, and it's probably one of my most successful shows so far. In this particular show, we cover hip hop, we cover R&B, cover some EDM mashups and things like that. The block has been completely awesome since I've started doing shows with them, and I absolutely love it. And I have a really good audience, and I'm going to leave another link in the description box below. But this show comes on at 2 different times because they change times with the seasons. So right now in the summertime, you can catch Coast to Coast with the Dizz at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Wednesday, there's a new show. The thing I'd like to say, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the name Coast to Coast with the Dizz. I kind of figured out, I was like, well, what am I going to name this show? I already have several shows at Flash, so I just kind of didn't know what to call it. Call it Coast to Coast because I always travel to the West Coast all the time. And in 2018, before I went to the Philippines, I took a train from Chicago to Seattle called the Empire Builder. It is one of the longest trains in North America. It's about a 48-hour train ride. You're basically going from the Midwest all the way to the Pacific Northwest, which is completely beautiful. If you ever have an opportunity to take the Empire Builder, because you can go to Seattle or you can go to Portland, I suggest that you do it. But this is what that show is based off of. When I took that train ride, we didn't have Wi-Fi on the train, so most people would think that's a tragic nightmare. I basically took all of that time that I was on the train when I wasn't sleeping, and I worked on music. And that's part of the reason why I call it Coast to Coast. Because in my traveling to the other side of the country, I worked on music that was fun for me, music that I totally identify with. But at the time, as I was headed to the Philippines, I was actually working on some mixes for another radio station, which is Mix 99 Radio. But I call this Coast to Coast because it covers a lot. And if you look at the show description and you kind of look at the pictures that I have with it, they're all pictures from Seattle. It's definitely a vibe. Like I said, in the summer months, we do 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And fall and winter months, it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But it's 60 minutes of solid music. I will leave a link for you to listen to the show. Definitely the Block 105 radio, they've been completely awesome, and I would totally like to do more shows with them as my time kind of permits. But that's going to do it for this episode of Solly's Vlog. Make sure you click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.